Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm Steph Barron, owner of LADYLUX hair salon and ladylux.co.uk, and today I have got another little video for you where I'm going to be recreating my 90s blowout with rollers. I have not done this in so long, but it was such a popular video and now my hair is so long. Like, look how long it is now. It's actually growing so well, which is good. So I am just going to recreate the look with my slightly longer hair. So let's get started. So that is me back from washing my hair. I just used my favourite Redken Extreme Lengths. I have been using this shampoo for well over a year and I absolutely love it. That's probably one of the reasons why my hair is growing so much. So I'm just going to be showing you all the essentials that you're going to need for this video. I'm going to be using our LADYLUX wet brush, but you can use like a tangle teaser, any sort of brush that is suitable for brushing your hair when your hair is wet. These type of brushes are much softer and kinder to the hair and cause less breakage. So I'm going to be using this first and then going to be moving on to a little round brush for the volume. I'm going to be using my extra large giant LADYLUX claw clip, which is huge, may I add. Is amazing for holding up super long hair and super thick hair, but we have just launched them on ladylux.co.uk and I'm obsessed with them. So I'm just going to be using this to section and hold my hair up. I am then going to be using my hair dryer. Now, please excuse me, this is not my usual hair dryer. Well, I have not long moved house and I can't actually find my little mini hair dryer, which I love to death. It's just £5 or £10 out of Primark, but I am just using this one, which is just sort of like one of those hair dryers that you get in a hotel. It's not that great, which just shows you that you can achieve this look with any hair dryer. I am then going to be using some Redken mousse, which is just going to add loads of volume, and then I'm going to add some oil as well. So, and most importantly, you need rollers. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm now going to go ahead and add some of this Redken mousse, which I've managed to just break the lid off, which is not ideal. So I'm just having to scoosh it this way, rub it in my hands and rub it all through, mostly into the roots and in to my hair. Now, I forgot to say, I always do let my hair dry about 80% so that I can, so that I can cut my time down for doing my hair, because I always cannot be bothered doing it. So I always want it to be as dry as possible, so leaving it for 80%. So I'm going to start off with the top, and we're just going to take my fringe section. I mean, you can use a comb if you want to be neater with this. Trying to use the camera as a mirror. So I'm just going to take my front section, and this is the area that I'm going to blow dry first. So I'm going to pin the rest of this back. Use my new clip. How far? Love the clip. And I'm going to start off first of all by blow drying up the way here, drying it all here, and then I'm going to be blow drying it forward. So let's get started. I look crazy like this, but hey ho, let's get started. So to start with, I am concentrating on drying the roots area because I want to have the roots and the mid lengths dried first before I start bending in the ends. So mostly concentrating on drying your roots up so that you've got volume, and then we're going to be curling in the ends once we've dried the mid lengths and the roots and the mid lengths, sorry. We're then going to be moving on to the mid lengths and ends, where we're going to be twisting the brush round and pulling it in, and then again applying the heat. It's repeating this technique over and over again and then letting the hair cool down, which will create the little bevel and the curl in the hair. I'm then going to be using a roller and winding the roller in and then securing with a little clip. I like to bring my front roller twisted forward just so that my bangs will sit a little bit more sweeping forward, and then with the rest of the rollers I do tend to take them back so that they will sit with more volume sitting backwards. I've then taken my second section, which is just behind my original section, and again I'm going to be concentrating on drying the roots and the mid-lengths. So I have taken two bigger sections, so it's always important that you take a section that is going to be the size of your round brush. This will help you keep all the hair in the section and make sure that it's all thoroughly dried. If you don't dry the sections thoroughly, you will find that your volume and any body that you've created will drop and will become flat very, very quickly. When it comes to your bouncy blow dry and roller technique, it literally is the same technique over and over again for every section, just making sure that you're thoroughly drying your hair, curling the beveled ends in, and then applying your roller to have the added volume. I've now gone back in and corrected this front section just because it got a little bit caught in my my second section, which is totally fine to do because obviously you would much rather that your sections are really nice and neat, and that will avoid catching other sections while you are drying. The back sections can be a little bit more difficult, especially if you're just new to this technique, but really it is practice makes perfect. You just kind of have to move the brush and hairdryer into the most convenient way for yourself. It is a lot easier to do this on yourself without filming rather than filming and doing it yourself and using the camera as a mirror. Also, if you're not used to doing these round brush blow dries, your arms can get a bit tired. So yeah, this is something that is very, very normal, but again, it's just sort of practice makes perfect. Once you're used to doing the sort of arm movements where you've got to be pulling the brush up and you've got to be applying the roller and holding the hairdryer, your arms do get used to it. So now that I've got my rollers applied in the top sections, I'm then going to be moving around to the front section. I always like to do the top first just because they are going to be the areas that are going to be the most important for, you know, the areas that you're going to be able to see, the area that you want to create the most volume in, and then I just feel like it's easier to work from the top down. Once I have applied the heat and the section is fully dried, I leave it to sit for a couple of seconds and then I apply my roller. I have applied the rollers to be pulling away from my hair because I think that that does sit better, but some people do prefer to have the roller turning into the face. I've moved on to the second section of the side rollers, and again I'm just concentrating on drying the root area and in the mid lengths. I'm chopping and changing from front and back so that we can create the volume at the root and the bevel in towards the end. To create the bevel on the end, we are twisting the hair up, drying it several times and then applying the roller to create more of a curl. One of the most important parts of this technique is the cooling stage, which is when you've applied the heat and then you obviously are no longer applying the heat. That is the cooling stage. Also, when all the rollers are applied in the hair, it is going to be the cooling stage that the hair is going to set. The curl is going to be properly enforced, and it means that the hair is going to, the bevel and the curl is going to last so much longer during the cooling stages. Similar to what I said previously with your section size, make sure that the section that you're drying is no bigger than the brush that you're using, and also make sure that the section fits the roller that you're also using, just because you want to make sure that they are compatible and they're equal sizes, or your hair will be falling out the edges. As we're getting further around the back, it can be more difficult. One, because it's an area that is difficult to see because nobody can see the back of their head. And also because you're having to use your arms in a much more difficult a more difficult way because you're having to pull your arms up, but you're also having to pull your arms back. So don't be disheartened if you're like me and even got some of your other sections caught or knocked out. Even us hairdressers managed to do that. But if you can see this section here where it's just dropped down a little bit, I will go back and I will fix that one and tighten it back up just so that it isn't hanging as low as it is at the minute. So again, I'm taking my roller, winding it right back down, pinning it into place, and then I'm just going to fix that roller so it's back up a little bit tighter. When you're working through the very back sections, I would always use very small sections just so that you can make sure that the hair is fully winding in the brush. It's just much more convenient for managing and being able to actually dry the hair. And yeah, just make it a whole lot easier for yourself. Now the size of the rollers that I am using are quite small. I always just use these rollers because my hair is a little bit shorter, so I do want there to be a little bit more of a curl. But if you're after, you know, not as much of a curl and just much more volume, then you can use a bigger roller. But I always advise to use a smaller roller just because I do think that it creates much more of a curl and a bounce, which is the look I'm looking for. Again, with each section, I'm applying the heat above and below so that we can evenly apply the heat and so that I can create the curl all the way around. I'm then letting it cool for a few seconds and then taking it out where you can see the volume at the root and the beveled end. And again, I'm applying the roller in position. So I had to change up my direction because the sun was getting in my face, which you can see here, I'm absolutely squinting. I'm then just going to be applying my last roller and then letting them set. So I have had my rollers in for about an hour, and usually I would keep them in for longer than that, especially if I am going out. But I'm going to just take them out now and we can see the final results. Oh, look at the bounce, it looks so good. So this is my final look. I hope you've enjoyed this little video and please like and subscribe to my channel for more hair videos.